Alright fellas, here we are back on Pokemon Masters, and tomorrow we're going to begin the release of Fall Shauntal and Froslass, second part of course, the new fall event. We did get UNOVA, and now again, we're getting Shauntal. Right, so, Shauntal, finally, took a while. They are continuing the trend of actually giving ghost-type trainers and all during fall, right? Of course, first time we got Acerola, second time it was Morty, third time Alistair, fourth time, who's last year, it was Phoebe, there we go, and then of course Shauntal, right? So awesome. Next is Agatha, of course, so being prepared for fall Agatha next year. I think we do have some other ghost characters still available, especially Rhyme, right? We'll probably get Rhyme in between now and next year, so we'll probably get a Rhyme ult. Anyway, whatever. So not really the point. Let's go ahead and gander at Shauntal. So this character's kit is definitely weird. I mean, similar case to, I don't know, it's not bad. It's just there's not really too much value in going for this character, especially because she's pretty clunky. I'm not gonna say they missed with this year's fall characters, but I mean, they could have afforded to be better. I honestly do like Shauntal. Like, it's a personal opinion, I do like her. I'm not gonna say she's like super valuable to get, or you should spend all your gems on this character, whatever. I just say that I'm personally not like a massive fan of the kit, but I do like it, just because it's got some of my more favorite gimmicks to just kind of play around with in the game. So yeah, anyway, without any investment at level 140, she's got 662 health, 178 defenses, 448 special attack, 271 speed. These stats are nothing crazy. It's fine. She's a tech sprint, by the way. This is I mean, her being a tech makes sense. Being sprint, a lot less so. I don't know why she has this EX roll other than just to have it. She would have preferred support. She would have preferred strike. She would have preferred field. She would, I mean, sprint is just universally the worst, like, EX roll. But like, I don't tend to hate on sprint too much as an EX roll if it makes sense for the character to have it. Like, if they do a lot of sync acceleration in base. Like, for example, if Lear would have got sprint, wouldn't have been better than strike, but it would have made sense, right? Shauntal doesn't even make sense. Like, she does not do any sync acceleration, so I'm more confused as to why she has sprint. And she's not even really fast either. She's actually pretty damn slow. Whatever, not really the point. Anyway, it was 6x investment, of course, 488 special attack. Both her defenses go to over 210, 762 health, 311 speed. Stats, of course, do get better. Her special attack is good, and it's pretty much good with all forms of investment. Just, of course, the defensive stats increase here and there, right? And with max investment via the Sprint EX roll and level 150, she goes over 500 on the special attack, which is very nice for sure, gaining a lot from that level 150 boost there. 532 special attack is really, really good. 226 defenses is fine, pretty decent, nothing crazy. 365 speed is pretty solid as well, and 852 health, good HP stats. So she's got pretty solid stats across the board. Nothing incredibly good for like tanking or anything, but she can do some pretty good damage as long as you have a damaging move, and that's where the crutch comes in. So, looking at her moves, she's got Powder Snow. A 1-gauge AoE move. This move is not used for damage, this move is used for utility, and we'll go into that in a bit. She's got Hail, so she sets Hail. Not much else to say, she can set Hail, that's good. Could be good for like weather gimmicks, yada yada, all that junk. Hail is definitely one of the, is it? Sand between, yeah, it's definitely the, one of the four weathers that has the least representation, or like least good sync pairs, or at least good sync pairs that set it. Like, it's got Eriott, full stop, for the most part. I mean, I would have to like actually look up every character that can set Hail. Yeah, the list kind of gets worse. I mean, Red can set it once, but like, that's once. I'm not even counting that, right? It's mostly just Eriott, right? That's like a super crazy character for it. B in the Legendary Gauntlet's great. Outside of that, nah. So that's something too, but either way, very, very good that she's got Hail. Not necessarily for her, but I mean, it's a buff for people who care for characters that want to run it. She's got her buddy move, Blizzard of Cursed Ice. This is a great buddy move. It's 4-gauge, one use isn't great, but at 300 power, hits all enemies. It's activated in Hail. If the target stats are lowered, it doubles the amount that those stats are debuffed, leaves the target frozen, and the power is not lowered if there are multiple targets. So this has got high power, effectively what is like a lot of other buddy moves with the flinch, right? Like Ray, Champion Marnie, Champion Silver, all of those characters, they've got like that flinch on the buddy move. Of course, Marnie's isn't guaranteed, but you get the point. And it's got high power, and of course, no split damage. It's all really, really good. Problem is that this is one use, and it's got at least an initial investment, no way to be restored. So she is effectively stuck with no damaging option outside of her nuke and this move, which is one of the bigger issues she faces, especially as a modern character, because a lot of modern techs, like you used to see this back in the day, where tech characters would not have great damaging moves, but would have great nukes. You don't see that too much nowadays. I mean, you can, for sure. It does exist, but especially among like top tier characters, not really. But, I mean, you can, of course, make it work. There's no doubt about that. And then a trainer move, interview time, raises special attack by 4, crit by 2, and applies gradual healing. That gradual healing is nice for the mode you're probably going to use this character in. The Gauntlet. This is a great Gauntlet character, honestly. But we'll go into that again in a bit. She's got her passives here, her Sync move, Lost Soul on a Snowy Mountain, Frost Beam, more target stats are lower greater by this attack, so she does have innate power play. Not much else to say, frankly. I mean, innate power play is already really good. That's 120% multiplier there. You're going to be getting more, again, with dupes, which, if you want to nuke with this character, you should be investing. Just going to tell you. Anyway, whatever. At passive skills, she's got her unique one, Rider's Ghost Story, which raises ally evasion by 2 the first time the user's Pokemon uses a status move, and lowers enemy accuracy by 2 the first time the user's Pokemon uses a status move. So she's got, dodge stuff. Accuracy and evasion. This is already kind of going into why her big utility is in the Gauntlet. She's got Hail to, beat all those weather gimmicks, Terrakion, Moltres, most notably, right, obviously. And now she's got gradual healing, and now she's got dodge hacks, evasion, and accuracy. We're getting there, right? Hit 3 times, stat down 9. Grants the following effects 3 times when the user's attack move is successful. 100% chance of learning what the target stats out by 1 stat rank at random. Attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, or evasion. So she's got 3 random stat debuffs, and consider that both of her moves are AoE, it's AoE debuffs. This is one of the biggest issues with Classic Elisa, is that they completely destroyed her nuke because she had such good debuffs, but she aged horribly because those debuffs were not, like, super crazy. And now Shauntal is like the modern version of that, to where she's kind of nerfed, but now she's got AoE crazy debuffs. It's something for sure, but still consider we've got like Champion Leaf, for example. Whatever. And then teams Hail immunity. I mean, sure, right? Immune to Hail chip damage. That's pretty basic at this point. I mean, it's good too. Like not having to take that Hail chip damage is very nice. So we do appreciate that. Anyway, I mean, Shauntal, this is her base kit, pretty much. I don't think she's super valuable, simply because, like, she's got good Gauntlet utility at 1 out of 5, the healing, debuffs, and evasion stuff, right? Like, that's all well and good. And especially double the stat debuffs with the use of her buddy move. But outside of that, she's got 1 usage of a high-powered move, no DPS outside of that. It's all pretty much debuffs and hail setting. And she's got a pretty pitiful nuke. 120% multipliers is not great. You are going to want dupes for that investment. Not a character I'd recommend picking up unless you really are just wanting a debuffing, hail setting character for whatever reason. Which in that case, hi Eriott, a character that can also debuff pretty well and set hail and ice stone and do damage. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, obviously probably not fair enough to compare it to a Master Fair, but just looking at where you should spend your gems, I mean, fair enough, right? Again, I still do like Shauntal, though, as a kid. But I do want to look at her with some dupes, because, I mean, obviously she's going to get better. At 2 out of 5, she gets Hasty Hail 2, Healing Hail 1, Hail NPR, Hail Immunity, Hail Interference Immunity, First Aid 2, not 4, Powder Snow Gauge Refresh 2, Trade with NPR, and Trainer Move Critical Eye 1. Critical Eye 1 is mostly useless, because you pretty much are going to be picking up Trainer with NPR to get to it anyway. I mean, there could be, like, energy issues and whatnot, but for the most part, you're probably going to pick this up anyway to max out special attack and have extra sets of gradual healing. So I don't think the critical eye node is that helpful, but with NPR, you can max our special attack and crit and get extra uses of gradual healing, which can be good, again, for that Legendary Gauntlet game mode, or, in fights where maybe you want to have her be her own self-sufficiency and have her own self-sufficiency, there we go, in healing. Right? Combine that with Healing Hail, and she basically gets 2 ticks of healing every turn. That's pretty helpful. Especially, again, in Legendary Gauntlet. That's a lot of good healing. Definitely. Healing Hail plus gradual healing, that's very nice. Very nice recovery. On top of First Aid 2 is a little bit of a safety net. That can be pretty helpful, too. Like, these are good. This is a character that's already got a pretty solid base for, like, a Legendary Gauntlet fight. And she gets better, of course, with that. Most characters do, but Shauntal, of course, especially likes it. Because it just makes her better at her job. Or like what you're going to be using her for anyway. Hail NPR, that's going to be extra good. Again, in those same modes, Terrakion and Moltres, you're going to want to have extra uses of that. And again, that maintains your healing, and it maintains your gauge refresh, or gauge management with the gauge refresh 2 here. whatever it's called, as well as hail interference immunity and hail immunity, preventing status conditions and status changes and whatnot. So those burns, paralysis, poisons, flinches, traps, confusions, all of that good stuff, don't have to deal with it because of these abilities as long as you're in hail. Again, I want to really preface that this is mostly stuff that's good in the gauntlet, for the most part. I mean, hail can be useful elsewhere, self-sufficiency with the NPR can be useful elsewhere, first aid 2 is, universally going to be pretty good, same thing with healing hail, but for the most part, these abilities are going to be the strongest in a game mode where you're mostly just trying to make your limited box work. So just keep that in mind when investing this character to different move levels. I don't think this helps her in most other game modes, at least not that much. But at 3 out of 5, of course, she's going to gain a lot more. Hail Alert 5 for Hail Extension. Hail Team moves up 2. Debut Team stats 7 down 1. Good lord. First Sync move, Team Accuracy and Evasion down 2. Hail Hit, Special Defense down 9. Hail Move, Sync Move Boost up 4-9. Yup, love the... Yeah, okay. Brain Power and then basically Sync Redemption. Good Sync Redemption. Anyway. And then 2 Sync Nodes. Okay, so for 1, she gains Brain Power. That's great. Brain Power. Brain Power plus the Sync Nodes, plus Sprint EX roll investment, 6-star EX, all that stuff. Basically a 380 base power Sync move, plus 220% multiplier. She's got a very good Ice Nuke. Is it stronger than I don't even know if it's stronger than Champion Red. I'm gonna be honest. He's got 250%, but yeah. Cool. I think it should be better than Eriott's, though, during Hail. Yeah, it's better than Eriott's, though Eriott, of course, does have a lot of other stuff to make up her lack of a nuke, for the most part. Point being, it's a good single-target nuke. Plus, you're getting Sprint EX roll on top of it if you do invest that to her. She's got, again, 500 plus special attack, 220% multipliers. That's pretty easy to activate, considering her efficiency in debuffing, and obviously having special attack buffs for herself. She's going to have a good nuke. That's great. And that's what you're kind of looking for this type of character that is focused on a lot of utility, but they're a tech and not a support. So you really want them to have some damage on top of that. And well, she's got that, or at least some really good utility. Well, she took the nuke, and that's good. She's got one of the best ice nukes in the game, and I can't really doubt that too much. And it's pretty easy to activate on top of that. That's awesome. Other than that, she's got better debuffing utility. Debut 7 stats down, debuffing all of attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy, and evasion by 1 on entry. Combine that with the buddy move, and of course that will be doubling those stat debuffs as well. So if you do want to potentially lead on entry, powder snow, hail, buddy move, you're basically maxing out her power play by effectively turn 3, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. That's really good for sure. Just the biggest thing with this is I don't think you're going to have many opportunities to pick it up, and you're not really going to want to pick it up. In a lot of game modes, you're going to be probably syncing with her second, support EX sync first, right? And then sync with her, which by that point she's going to have her nuke fully maxed out. There's not going to be an issue with that. And in modes like the Legendary Gauntlet, where these battles are longer, there's going to be other things you want to pick up in this grid. And of course, in any game mode, there's going to be other things you want to pick up in the grid, right? But also still, whatever, in the game, in the Legendary Gauntlet, the fights are longer, you're going to have more time to debuff, and these debuffs here on entry aren't going to make as big of a difference, usually, especially when the enemies aren't hitting super hard at the very beginning, so you have enough time to heal up any damage they may do, and still, dodge attacks, all that stuff, right? So, I don't think this node's that valuable. I mean, it is an option, though, obviously. Maybe combine it with other characters on entry debuffs, like Terrify and those type of nodes, and maybe you can get some pretty strong debuffs early on. Also consider this as AoE, so, I mean, that's something. Anyway, first sync move, Team Accuracy and Evasion down 2, lowering enemy accuracy and evasion by 2 on the use of her sync move. I still think this is something that's not super useful. I mean, it can be helpful for sure, but again, in these Legendary Gauntlet game modes, pretty used to reset for lucky accuracy debuffs. That's just kind of how it goes a lot of the times, especially with her being able to debuff stats 3 times, and as well as having -2 accuracy on using hail the first time. She isn't really hurting too much for accuracy or evasion debuffs. It's not that big of a deal, I wouldn't say. But I mean, again, if you do want those accuracy debuffs and you want to take out a little bit of the RNG, again, consider you could also double, there we go. You can also double these debuffs with the use of the buddy move. You can pick up that move and, again, take out a little bit of RNG out of it. That's something. On top, going back to the sync nuke for a minute, brain power plus power play, she's also got the sync move boost 4 here on Hail, giving her +4 sync moves next when using Hail, and that gives her, again, that makes her nuke go from one of the best to probably around the best. I don't know how she calcs compared to like Champion Red with his like maximum investment or whatever, right? Because he's got the plus however many sync move up special moves next for his buffs. It's probably, because again, you can't really max it out too efficiently. It's probably like +5 on average that you can get with this guy, maybe +4, something like that. Like +4 special moves up next, plus brain power, plus the, if you have it, 50% power buff here, the rebuff sync move power up here, all of that stuff, right? Like, if you want to opt to pick up all that stuff and Tech EX roll and all that, I don't know how he compares to Shauntal. Obviously, like, he's going to be just a better character anyway, but in terms of just, like, nuke, single target, I'm not really sure which one's better, and I guess that's obviously something great to look at. It's like Shauntal's got that strength, right? It's very comparable, especially because you can stack these. If you want to go for Hail NPR plus the sync boost here, then you can effectively farm as many sync move boosts as you are willing to go for Hail NPRs, and that's really good. You can get some very high power out of this, and Shauntal's nuke can look really, really strong from that, so that's awesome to have. Again, helps her out because having that good nuke is great. Hail hit special defense down 9. Same thing as these for the most part. It just takes out the RNG of these debuffs and whatnot, right? And of course, if you are trying to power up other characters, special attacking characters, again, Champion Red. Eriott, if you want to use her as one of your, secondary damage dealers, gets this, I guess. Any special attacking character that you're going to be running with her, even outside of like ice teams or hail teams or whatever. If you want to run with special characters and get those fast special defense debuffs, this node's for you. But again, if you are just trying to get good debuffs with her, you're mostly going to be getting those out of the main passive here anyway. It's not that big of a deal, for the most part. Other than that, real last nodes, Hail Alert 5 extending the set of Hail. If you don't really care to farm Hail for sync move boosts here, you can, of course, opt to just select Hail Alert 5, and you just don't have to worry about the duration of Hail. That's great. I don't think this applies, obviously, to Eriott with her Ice Wish stuff. I mean, it does, of course, this does extend Hail. They both extend Hail. But of course this does not extend Eriott's Ice Zone, because that's just not how her abilities work, sadly. But having the Hail extension is like really good. I mean, for characters that need Hail to do a lot of good damage, it is helpful, so that's something. And obviously it helps her out a decent bit too. And then Hail Team moves up too. This is why it's pretty helpful. You get a 20% power buff for the allies. It's not like Signasuit Lear levels of support where he's got like fucking, how much did I say he got before again? Like 60% support to the whole team just for pretty much existing or having the circle up. It's not like that level, but still 20% power buff on top of whatever other buffs your team has, whether that be via debuffs or like moves up next enhancement or something like that. Obviously, that 20% buff is going to be helpful for the team. And helpful for her too, helping out with that damage on her buddy move, which I do want to note, as strong as it is, it doesn't have any multipliers other than this, so it's not going to be like uber ridiculously stupid strong or anything like that. It's just going to be adequately strong for the most part. It's going to be a good damaging move, especially if you can stack up special moves next buffs on her, something like that, and make it actually hit harder. And really, here we go. First sync move, restore buddy move MP. This is helpful. Of course, not only do you get another high-powered attack, another instance of that, you also get the double debuffs again. So if you want to potentially pick up these like accuracy down nodes or special defense down nodes or whatever, granted this one's not as helpful with the double debuffs, but maybe accuracy could be. You could use, again, those accuracy debuffs or whatever, then use the buddy move again afterwards for those double debuffs, and then again you'll have another usage of it later on. Yeah, it's pretty good. You get those double debuffs, pretty much quadruple debuffs if you want to look at it that way. She's great for debuffing stats. It's just I think that she kind of excels too much in that area to where they're like, pick up all of these debuffing tiles that you really don't need them, because for the most part, this passive plus this passive can handle it. I just don't see too much usage in that. Either way, though, she's got a lot of good utility nodes here, a lot of good stuff to power up her own sync move, which is what you really do want, and that's mostly it for this character. I mean, she's got the little bit of power buff for the allies with the Hail team power buff, the Hail Alert 5 on top of that to just kind of synergize with that, and Hail MP as well, NPR as well. So he has Hell. Okay, sure. And then Hail sync boost here, plus the brain power, plus the innate power play. She's got a lot of good nuking stuff. She can do a very strong single target ice nuke, as well as do some pretty solid damage with her buddy move uses if you do have to pick up 2 of it. But of course, 1 usage of it is going to be pretty strong too. And those, again, double debuffs for defensive debuffs, offensive debuffs, accuracy and evasion debuffs, speed debuffs for like cakewalk and gauge and stuff like that of the enemy. All of that stuff's nice. Like, these are all good abilities. It's just, for the most part, I don't see too much great reason to run her because of mainly her lack of actual damage outside of the 2 uses of the buddy move. Eriott is just kind of better on that front. Like, she's got, her debuffs are not nearly as crazy, but she trades in crazy debuffs for still some with Satisfied Snarl and Mind Games 9, plus the speed debuffs of Icy Wind, meaning she can already debuff 3 stats, and you can still give her like Mind Games or Defense Crush as a lucky skill and get even more debuffs that way if you really wanted to. But she also trades it in for power, right, where she can actually do some somewhat decent amounts of damage with Hunter's Instinct plus Invigorating Hail 5 boosted Icy Winds, plus the similarly nuclear buddy move of Dancing Ice Beam, which does not have the same power as Shauntal's buddy move, nor is it AoE, but it does actually have those same multipliers of Hunter's Instinct and Invigorating Hail to back it up. Plus, obviously, Eriott can set Ice Zone. I just don't think there's much competition for an ice team when running between Shauntal and Eriott. I mean, maybe you can say Shauntal helps out End more, but even then, still not really, because Eriott can debuff speed. Actually, no, End1's attack. Yeah, sorry. End1's attack, which, granted, Eriott can't debuff, so I guess Shauntal is better in that front, but also End1's Ice Zone, right? So there's still that pretty big factor in play. Anyway, if we don't really want to compare her to other ice types, I still think she's pretty good. The debuffs are great. She's going to be a great gauntlet character at the very least. So if that is one game mode you really love playing in, then this is a character to pick up for sure. Like, even just 1 copy is pretty good for that mode. 2 copies is pretty great as well because of the Hail MP plus the healing and the self-sufficiency and healing and more healing with first aid too. Good for that stuff, but again, if you also really just want to go for the nuke, you really can. And I mean, it's there. And some extra damage, some support on top of it. Mostly a character that people are probably going to want to go for simply because they like the Pokemon or the character or they like the season, some stuff like that. And not really a character you're going to go for too much in terms of efficiency, but a character you can get pretty good usage out of if you do opt to get them and invest in them properly. I mean, most characters in this game, right? So, yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts about Fall Shauntal and Froslass. Let me know what you think about them down in the comments below. I do wish she was honestly Ghost type instead of Ice, but, I mean, whatever. I don't really have too much complaints. I needed a better Ice nuker anyway. Granted, I just got Signasudan. Phooey. Whatever, it's fine. I'll see you later. Hope you all enjoyed. Go look on your summons for Fall Shauntal. Fall Iona as well, who did drop technically today is the time of recording this, but yesterday is the time of uploading this. And good luck on your skipping as well. And yeah, peace.